The Good Shepherd, fourth in the Angel of Death series, now available at steviejoauthor.com.
Hi everybody! Welcome to this week's episode of The Composition of Imagination. This is the show where we talk about the backstory of Angel of Death, kind of my writing process, and all the fun ways that we get the books into your hands. And today I am joined by my fabulous book guardians, Tasha and Jaxsen. And if you've been following us over the last few weeks, then you'll know that we have been focusing primarily on In the Beginning, which is the first book in the Angel of Death series. Since that book opens with an introduction to the Kingdom of Heaven, I thought that it would be only appropriate for us to spend some time kind of talking about the Kingdom of Heaven, kind of how it's set up, what angels reside in there, kind of why we focus on them, that whole deal. The last couple videos focused on the locations and just talking about the cities and things like that. So, and you can go check that out as well so that you have a well-rounded view of the Kingdom of Heaven and the Angel of Death series. So now, today, it's time to meet the angels that exist in heaven. As you may have gathered from the title of this episode, it is a two-part discussion because I just want to make sure we are dedicating enough time to introduce these very important, although seemingly minor characters. Right now, they kind of play a background role, but they're much, much more important than what we led on. So, without further ado, let's just dive on into it. In the previous videos, we kind of touched on the lower tier of angels in heaven, and by that I mean the shepherds and defenders and stuff like that. We just kind of touched on them. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them here, but I will just give you an idea, a better idea of what they do so that you know the importance of their roles in the kingdom. So basically, when a mortal soul dies, and it's really important to distinguish that it's a mortal soul, because angels don't die, they vanquish, and they go because that's it. What can a soul do once it's already an angel? So only mortal souls get this option, where when they die, death imprints them with either the holy mark or the mark of the damned on the back of their necks, and they come up to the pearl gates, and the defenders there are the ones who say, you can come in, you've got to go to hell, which must be the most satisfying job in the world. Like, oh, you go to hell.
Oh wait, there's the elevator. You need to make a left over here.
Yeah. So that's kind of how they get into heaven. Once they're inside, they go straight to the Garden of Eden, where the holy trees are. And in the next video, we will talk more about the holy trees and the angels of wisdom, but this is important as far as shepherds go, because a mortal soul who goes to the Garden of Eden and chooses to eat the pomegranate fruit from the tree of knowledge gets, I don't want to say like reincarnated or anything, but if they choose to eat a pomegranate from the tree of knowledge, they are immediately blessed with a pair of angel wings and sent to nirvana.
They're reassigned,
basically, yeah. And they're sent to nirvana to learn how to be an angel. Because remember, in the Angel of Death series, magic is fluid. So you can't just, oh, I ate the pomegranate, so now I have all this magic. And no, that's not how that works. You have to obtain it and learn how to use it. And because there's so much magic in the world, angels don't waste their time learning magic they're not going to need. So they basically go to the Holy Library, figure out their divine purpose, and learn the magic that will help them achieve that. So that's kind of how shepherds work. If they find out that their divine purpose is, to protect and defend heaven, well, that's where you get a defender from. Because then they have the power to be the ones at the pearl gates or in front of the guardian castles or whatever, defending all these other angels from the threats of hell that have actually never threatened heaven. Okay, so when an angel becomes a shepherd, they basically get to learn all the secrets, the kind of the basic secrets of heaven, because they are the most basic of angels.
They're tier
that we have. They are tier 1. It's like when you play a video game and you don't have any XP yet, and you're just starting out, running around, figuring out how to run through these worlds.
That would be me on this expert video game. I'm just along for the ride. I'm just following people. Going,
and you're like,
what are we doing
shiny?
Yeah, what are we doing today?
I have magic, but I have no XP to do anything with it.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, you can do that cool thing. How do you do that? Oh, I've got like 5,000 XP. Oh. Okay, so that's like where a shepherd is. They discover their divine purpose in the Holy Library, and some of them, actually not all shepherds, are meant to protect mortals. Some of them can train new angels and help impart magic onto them based on what they've learned. So you've got like this constant cycle of teaching and protecting and learning, and it just constantly...
It sounds like a factory.
Kind of. I saw, speaking of like how it sounds and looks and everything, Nishi Studios sent me some pictures that I'll have to show you guys. Her rough sketches of Utopia and Ecstasy,
nice.
And some of these angels. So I'll have to show, and I'll put some like sneaky previews up here in this area so that you can see. I'm very excited because I do actually, this is a good time to mention this. In March at LexCon, when we're going to be there, I've got a special encyclopedia coming out that's all about the angels of heaven and heaven itself, and Nishi Studios is doing all the illustration, and I'm so excited because she has sent me amazing stuff. So I'm really excited to show that. But basically, there are several paths that an angel can take once they've eaten that pomegranate and are like, oh, okay, I'm part of heaven now. And only fate can tell them that, can tell them what they're actually meant to do, because that's how you find out your divine purpose. So that begs the question, what is happening to these tier 1 no XP angels without a wielder of fate? Because even when book 1 opens, there's no wielder of fate. So what do you think is happening to these angels?
I think fate's literally making the decisions, since it doesn't have a wielder to basically be the voice.
Okay.
It's fate's just kind of, you're going this way, you're going this way, you're going this way.
Like whether it would be good for anybody or not?
It's just kind of almost like a randomizer.
Okay.
Because the wielder does the bidding of fate, and is also basically the voice.
Yeah. And making sure fate doesn't like screw things up royally, you know?
Yeah, sort of the moral compass, I guess you would say.
Yes.
But without a wielder of fate, well, fate's kind of like, all right, I'm out of school, I have no parents, let's have some fun.
It's Home Alone.
Yeah. And so when these new angels come up, yeah, they don't know what they're doing or anything.
Lives in
I'm
there.
surprised you don't have a lot of angels in your books that are shepherds that at some point, because they have so many and they're dealing with so much, because you got problem children.
Oh, of course.
You always have that.
Of course.
That you've got probably shepherds out there that, probably don't exemplify what an angel really should look like.
Yeah.
They're probably got, 5 o'clock shadow, you know.
A drinking problem.
Yeah.
A very, very strong drinking problem, even though they can't get drunk.
Yeah.
And, all around they probably smoke.
I never said they couldn't get drunk. They just drink in moderation. But
okay, well then they go over moderation.
Yeah. They so that's actually really funny too, because that's why I made Utopia the way I did, where it's almost like they live in these little like dormitory colony type places, so that they've got the support of other, that way, because it's like, oh, everybody else knows what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So I just need a break from all these mortals because they're being a pain in my ass. I'm just going to go out here into the common area and just chill for a minute. just gonna chill, and we're not gonna think about these things for a minute. They'll be fine. And it's really funny because when I thought of creating these angels, the shepherds in Angel of Death, when you're like, man, my guardian angel must have been asleep at the wheel or whatever, whenever you're making those calls, it's really the shepherd. It's not the actual guardian, because there's only 6 of them. There's no way they could keep tabs on, well, you guys. But the guardians in Grace, there's only 6 of them, and they don't have enough manpower to watch over the billions of souls on Earth.
They only take care of the major engagements.
Exactly.
The small stuff, it's like, that's us.
Yeah, exactly. And that might be where Hope gets her, like, holier than thou, pun intended, to be like, I'm better than everybody else, because not only is she selected for Wielder of Fate, but for hundreds of years she has not had to deal with being a shepherd and watching over all these, peons of souls.
I will say this, you say that Fate, when dealing with a new wielder, has to basically force them to do a leap of faith. Well, most people think a leap of faith is, just not thinking and just whatever comes in front of you, you sit there and try to figure out. In this case, could it be the fact that Fate knows more about Hope than she realizes, and that maybe her leap of faith doesn't have anything to do with what's right in front of her? It's her.
Maybe. Yeah, which that is part of it. She does have to prove that she can kind of get over herself.
In a way, sort of purge the emotional attachment.
Yes, and that is part of divine rule. Because the very first Wielder of Fate screwed everything up for the future Wielder of Fates. We'll talk about this more when we talk about the Angels of Wisdom in the next video, but basically that's why we have death, because the first Wielder of Fate introduced it, and so from then on, the Angels of Wisdom and Samuel, when he took on the role of the Pied Piper, was like, dude, no, the wielder cannot have any emotional attachments to anything. They have to, if they're in a relationship, sorry about ya, guess you're broken up. So that's kind of why Hope is struggling a little bit, because through the books, you can see her battling with this, like, intense passion that she has with Jaxsen and that she wants to hold on to, but she's also like, I really want this Wielder of Fate throne, and they're making me choose. Yeah. And I don't want to choose. So her goal, she's actually mentioned this in either the first or second book. She has told Jaxsen that when she becomes Wielder of Fate, because for her it's not an if question, it's when. She has told him when she becomes Wielder of Fate, she's throwing divine rule out, and she doesn't care. She wants him at her side, and so she's gonna shake things up.
Well, see, that's what she thinks in her mind.
Yes.
But Fate already knows this.
Yeah.
And that's why Fate's sitting there kind of actually hanging back. And just kind of not even throwing breadcrumbs, just throwing a crumb and go, you figure it out. You're so smart. You figure all this out. Yeah. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to have my fun with everything.
Yeah. Here's a puzzle, but you only get 3 pieces. And you have to figure out what the other pieces are.
In her case, it's literally 1 piece, and you got a little bit of guidance from Samuel. And
well, because Samuel's running out of patience.
Yeah, well, this is actually a test for him to see if he is truly committed to his role as being neutral, with basically, in his mind, a brat.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is how he looks at her very much throughout the books. He's like, oh my God, of all angels, you chose this one? Like, why?
I have known her for 300 years.
Yeah.
I knew this was going to be a bad mistake.
And Samuel, this will come back around through our questions that I'm going to ask when we talk more in detail about hope and stuff. But Samuel actually, he's only the second ever Pied Piper. Whereas Hope is like the, who knows how many, wielder of fate. 'Cause that's a role that fate keeps recycling. Because you don't want somebody to get in that role and get complacent. Yeah. And just start, same old same. You want that new perspective. So, taking it back real quick to finish up our discussion about shepherds and things before we really dive into, like, hope and all that more. Basically, the best way I can describe how the shepherds contribute to heaven is they are the grease that keeps the cogs in the clock working. Because they're that, lower tier, but it's not like you could go a little while without it because, it'll still function a little while without the grease in it, but you're going to need to put more in after a while.
You're going to really have to pour some in.
Because that metal rubbing against that metal is not going to do well. So,
not to mention the noise.
Yeah, exactly. So the shepherds are the ones that help, along with the defenders, they help battle against the forces of hell, even though they're unseen, because, they can't really come together and fight, but they fight against the forces of hell for the souls on earth to help maintain that balance of power, because everything comes back to your fate and the balance of power, right? Mm-hmm. So, the reason that it always comes back to that is because heaven and hell are simultaneously competing for dominion while also trying to work together to keep everything in harmony. And I know that sounds really counterintuitive, but you have to remember Lucian was once an angel of heaven.
Yeah.
So it's possible, maybe, that he still has a soft spot for the angels up there and how heaven functions. Do you think?
No.
No?
I think it's more like a Cold War.
Okay.
Because if you look at it a certain way, heaven and hell is basically like the superpowers.
Yeah.
They both want to be number one, but they both have weapons that, if they were unleashed, would destroy everything.
Yeah.
So they just kind of maintain, but they sit there and they send their little agents out to probe the defenses to see, well, if I find a weakness here,
yeah,
you could probably sit there, send a force through, they'll react, and then we'll sit there and negotiate a ceasefire,
yeah,
or something.
They already have a treaty in place. It's called the Divine
Mm-hmm.
Treaty, and that just helps ensure that no one's going to do anything radical. Like what you were talking about. It's like, okay, I know that you want to take over because you're mad at me for sending you down to hell, whatever, but please don't, like, blow up Earth. Like, please don't do that.
I feel like Lucian, so if he was an angel in heaven and then he got kicked out and he made his own little hell, he pretty much took the same business model up there and brought it just down to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it,
that's what he knew.
It's a dark version. It is.
Yeah,
it's a dark version.
Yeah.
I mean, so I feel like he kind of does. He knows what works.
Yeah.
Because apparently, if it was working up there and it's working in hell,
yeah,
the business model
But
works.
really, if you think about it, which I know we'll sit there and go into more detail in a later video, if you look at hell, yes, it's kind of the same model, but he has a lot more problems with it than...
Because he hasn't perfected it.
It does...
And he doesn't... No, if he almost got taken over by his own girlfriend, I guess? No.
Ish.
No.
But that's the thing. It is...
And he kicked the bitch to the curb, so...
He was like, power is threatened. Deuces.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Shit's on the lawn.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
But
yeah.
It's sort of like this. You got heaven, which is like structured. Everybody understands their role. Not necessarily so much of a power struggle, where in hell, it's, passion,
Mm-hmm.
giving in to vices, and all the things
that
that
you can do in heaven.
potentially.
But sometimes it's done in secret, like her and Jaxsen.
Exactly.
She has to ditch Jaxsen, but she's like, I don't want to.
But at the same time, it's like the worst unkept secret.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows about it, they just tolerate it because it's not affecting them.
Yeah.
Where in hell, they don't care. They're just like, hey, rock on, let's keep it going. And then if something... Oh, wait a minute! You're coming into my area. No, we're stopping this.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, Bob, did you get any new souls? This is a good moment to really get into the Guardians of Grace and really start talking more about Hope and Jaxsen. And before we get specifically into them, it's not like they're the only two Guardians, but they're the only two that we focus on in the books. They're the only ones whose drama matters, basically. But there are 6 total, and just like there are 6 Dark Angels to kind of help balance that out. And the 6 Guardians, they all do have names and like little personalities. They are Rosangela, Alia, Hope, Asuka, Hamiel, and Jaxsen. So, those, like, fun names,
I love how you got Jaxsen. It's like you picked the surfer dude.
Okay.
You were like, okay, I need a California dude to sit there and round out the bunch.
You think that's a California name? That sounds so country as shit to me.
No.
Jaxsen? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds like cornbread as fuck.
I knew that there would be like what the hell are those names? So I wanted to share with you.
You can say that about Hope. I mean, it's like...
No, I wanted to share with you my name process. So if you look at my, search history, you would probably think that I'm pregnant with quintuplets. Because I am on baby name websites like crazy. And basically, I do a whole lot of research on names of characters before I decide on them.
Yeah.
And I go into it for that character. I'm like, here is your list of traits that I want you to have. Let's see if we can find you a name that matches. And so I'm like combing through all these baby name websites to try to find a name that fits the characteristics. For those 6 Guardians, their names either have some kind of holy, angelic, heavenly, biblical meaning, or they just sound really uplifting and encouraging, like what heaven would do. Where everybody thinks about heaven and it's like, oh, my spirits are lifted because I know that someone's looking out for me, that kind of thing. So that's why I chose those names. Now, to your point about Jaxsen, both of you kind of commenting his is the oddball out, there's a reason, and it's because the very, very, very first iteration of Angel of Death, before it was even called Angel of Death, it was actually called A Stitch in Time. And Jaxsen, there were a lot of characters actually that in the books that came from that original iteration, and Jaxsen was one of them because I really liked his name, I really liked his character traits, but in that version, I had nothing to do with him. I was like, I really like this character that I want to put in here, but where? So as the story evolved, he fit more and more. That's how he became, and I just didn't want to change his name. So that's how he kind of
Jaxsen
stayed in there.
I don't see
Georgia or Tennessee.
No.
Something like that.
Because A Stitch in Time took place in, I think it was Georgia, because it was it was rooted more in reality. It didn't have any of this, and it was a very Southern plantation family from the
Jaxsen.
1800s.
No, because they would spell Jaxsen Jaxsen, Jaxson.
I just like fun spellings. That's just me. That's nothing to do with that. But
no, by that spelling, I think of a skater person or surfer guy.
No. Like a rancher, he's lived on the farm, the ranch.
This ain't a Hallmark movie.
No.
It was whenever it was A Stitch in Time, though.
Oh, God.
I mean, I showed you my old files on that, you'd be like, what were you thinking?
What I'm saying. That's what I think of Jaxsen being like a country boy.
Yeah.
That
I can already hear the trailer.
School. He like went to high school.
I
and
hear
everything,
it exactly.
He was a jock and
Yeah, but I mean, he was in 4-H. He was not a jock. He was 4-H. Because he grew up on the farm. He knew how to do all this shit. Because when he got home from school, he had his farm chores to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
Not some surfer dude.
Yeah.
Like, his name's not Kyle. I mean, I would think more of a Kyle of a, like, California guy, not...
Kyle?
Yeah. I don't know,
okay.
just Kyle.
I kind of agree with that, because I've known a few Kyles, and they all had that...
Or that skater dude.
Yeah,
or whatever,
they all had that kind of attitude, or like a Johnny, or a like those are kind of the because I did know a skater guy named Johnny, and like so it's those kinds of
or
names.
Like maybe Kyle could be kind of preppy too.
Yeah,
but Jaxsen, I just think of like
the good old boy.
The good old boy, like
he's like 8 feet tall because he was corn-fed.
Wow.
Because he is cornbread. He's made out of cornbread.
The good stuff.
But that's like the history of him.
That's what I think of more. So that's why I think it was so funny that you have totally different.
Yes, of his name, what you think of.
Totally different, like, coast and everything.
So what do you think of when you hear Jaxsen's name? Is there a part of, a person that you have in mind? Like, as he is just this, like, he's mischievous, but he knows what's right. His moral compass is very straight. He just likes to have fun. And that's
how does that not fall into a surfer dude?
No, I still think
because you got those good old boys that are like, man, I like to go out and light them cow patties on fire, but I know that if I do that when there's someone around, they're going to get hurt. Everybody needs to stay back.
Okay.
Because I do have, this is even like a fun announcement for you guys. March will mark the 2-year anniversary of the release of In the Beginning, which is my first ever published novel, and it's the first one in the series. And so that whole month, you guys are really going to like it, because we're going to do like Origin Month, where I talk about the whole origin of the series. You guys will get to come up with questions to ask me and like turn the tables and interview me and stuff. That's going to be a really fun month, because the whole month long for every video we're gonna do stuff like that just to celebrate Angel of Death and like talk about the origin, so we can talk about how I even created it, what my inspiration is, and all that. Yeah, so we're gonna do all that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because we're talking about like where the angels came from and why they are. So I thought that was a good, like, let me announce that real quick. So anyway, back to the Guardians. 6 Guardians. We only focus primarily on Hope and Jaxsen, as you hear from our lively discussion. Just to give like a reason why, if you're like, oh, I want to know what's going on with like Rosangela and Asuka and all them. So yeah, the thing is, we focus on Hope and Jaxsen because, let's be real, you don't care if an angel's life is going well, if they're following the rules and everything's going fine. That's and they're boring. Like the picture perfect. Yeah, you don't want to read about, so Rosangela went from her bed to the kitchen and then went in and looked in her observatory and found the soul she was supposed to, and they were perfect, and they died and came to heaven, and her job was done.
Now, like, that ain't true. She's sitting there going, how did they pick that one?
But
I'm doing my job. I get passed over for the 50th time.
Oh, that comes up in a later book, actually, because Hope has to confront the other Guardians eventually.
Oh, I want to read that chapter.
She has to ask them for a favor, so that's a looking ahead spoiler, kind of.
I like that.
I can handle it.
But the reason why we focus primarily on Hope and Jaxsen is because they are the ones with the most at stake. Yeah. So their lives are the most dramatic. So that's why the others are just background angels. You now know their names. You wouldn't have learned that until like book 6 or 7 maybe. So you now know their names and that they exist, but their jobs are going well. They are picture perfect angels who are, what exemplifies a guardian of grace. Yeah. Whereas Hope and Jaxsen are like the oddballs, and everybody looks at them and is like, oh my God, this again. Like, now I have several fun questions to ask to kind of get more of an in-depth discussion about Hope and Jaxsen, more so than we already have, because because I'm asking you to look at different angles of things and how they're behaving. So the first question I have is, do you think that Hope is actually just using Jaxsen? Do you think she actually loves him, or is she just using him? And if you think she's just using him, what's her end game?
Yeah, I don't think she's using him.
You think it's a real, like, I actually love this guy, like,
No.
This is our passion, okay?
No. I mean, she has strong feelings, yes. But at the end of the day, she is a female narcissist. She only cares... No, seriously. What she wants is power. And granted, she's patient about it, but as you go through and you read, her thinking is me. It's not how best I can use this power to make heaven and earth better.
Yeah.
It's
even though
how do I get stronger? How do I get more power? I want to change this. I want to do this. I.
Yeah.
You don't hear her sit there say anything about, well, once I'm finally the wielder of fate, I can make it so that Jaxsen and I can, be bonded and do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
It is all about her. And if she had to, if it meant her not getting to be the wielder of fate, she'd cut Jaxsen off in a heartbeat. She may not like it, but she'll do it because she wants that power.
So why can't she be very motivated in herself to get that power and to do all those things, and then once she has it, she brings Jaxsen along? Just because he's not part of the plan right now doesn't mean he ain't going to be later. So why is that so wrong for her to be that hungry to do things?
Because that's the way she's always been. She's
but why
always
is that wrong,
wanted.
Though? Because the way you were making it sound that's horrible. Like,
it's not horrible.
Like, she shouldn't be that way. She should be so grateful and blah blah. No.
If you look at her path to where she's at.
Yeah, she's
done a lot of good stuff, and there are parts of her that miss good aspects of her job. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, she's like, I want more.
Well, I want more. Why not?
She's not sitting there, you never hear her sound like that, she wants to get to a point.
Because you don't see that part of her life yet? Or you don't see that part of her yet?
She's lost that part of her.
I don't think she has. I think it's still in her. Because if so, then she would already cut Jaxsen loose. Because she would see.
Hey, you want to keep your boy toy, fairly close, because frustration does build after a while.
That's why you just call him. You don't have.
You can't call him if he's in jail.
If he's in angel jail,
then you find another. If that's all that he is, you find another one to replace that quickly.
Maybe that's why she holds on to him, because she hadn't found anybody.
No, you can find somebody. They're like buses. They'll come every couple of minutes. It's fine.
So do you think that it's just about sex with Hope for Jaxsen? Or do you think she keeps him close because he's like the only ally she has left?
I think more as an ally, and it can be a sounding board at times with certain situations that she's dealing with. But outside of that, I mean, you really don't hear her sitting there saying a whole lot in her inner monologue of, well, once I'm here, we can do this, we can do this. It's always about what I do.
Okay. So, next question, kind of piggybacking off of that, do you think, flipping the tables a little, do you think Jaxsen should just ditch Hope? Do you think that he's being hurt?
Why wouldn't he if she's just a narcissist?
Well,
like you say.
Actually, but
so
he may, even though he knows what's right and wrong and stuff, I mean, I think he's trying to maybe, he's along for the ride.
Okay.
For the most part.
By choice or out of habit?
Both.
Okay.
He is choosing this because, I mean, it's Hope. They've known each other for a good while.
Yeah.
And stuff, and, you know.
They've been together 500 years, is what I say in the book.
So it's 500 years, and angel time is probably like, you know.
It's a long-ass time in human time. Because remember, for every 3 days on Earth, 1 day passes in heaven.
But
so
if you look at 500 years, I mean, why, you would have to ask the question, why haven't they been bonded by that point?
That is a valid question. One that I don't have an answer to right now.
But again, that's where I find that if they've been together that long, it's not a relationship of convenience.
Yeah.
There are emotions attached.
Okay.
They do care for each other. I think he cares more for her than she does for him.
Okay.
And so he'll sit there and kind of go along with the ride. And the fact that, let's face it, he's probably got part somewhere in his mind. He's like, look, I'm with the wielder of fate. That's a lot of
that does
clout.
Something to your ego.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh.
So that also plays into it, and can be a potential weapon against the angels of wisdom, because we all know they are very judgy of a lot of things.
They are, and we will talk about them. We'll spend some time on them. But so, okay, what about, so we're talking about if we think that, you know, there's any kind of real love there between Hope and Jaxsen and all that. So what about when Hope had her little tantrum and carved their initials into a tree in the Garden of Eden? Do you think that she did that because she genuinely loves Jaxsen? Or did she do it because she's kind of stuck in this, like, sort of fantasy world where she's, you know, a blissfully in love teenage type? Because remember, I
think she just did it just to go, nah, look at what I can do. I mean,
so like a show of power.
Yeah, she did that as really a human knee-jerk reaction. I don't like what you all did. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this, and you guys aren't going to stop me.
Yeah.
Meh. Okay. Just like that.
Okay. What do you think? Do you think she did it because she loves him, or because she's like...
I think a little bit of both. I think there's some love there, but it's also like a big, like, fuck you to...
Yeah, because it was in the Garden of Eden. Of all trees, she picked one in the Garden of Eden, and she was like...
You know, if she really wanted to make a statement, she'd go for the balance of power tree and really just...
Oh, the statue?
Yeah. And, you know, really do it that way. But even there, she knows her place. Just because she did in the Garden of Eden, unless somebody's really looking for it, it's not...
Yeah.
It was really more of a venting.
I think it was also more for, like, them.
So it was really, you think part of her was commemorating them and being, because, so I'll just give you a little behind the scenes of when I wrote that scene. In my mind, Hope was kind of starting to mourn the potential of losing Jaxsen because of her future potential wielder of fate. So she's... So what role do you think Jaxsen will ultimately play in Hope's leap of faith, specifically that moment, whenever fate is like, she finally is like, okay, here's the test that if I pass this, I will be the wielder of fate. Do you think Jaxsen will have a role in that in any way?
He might. But I mean, it just depends on what that leap of faith is.
And that's the hard part, is we don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the leap of faith is something as simple as you need to cut Jaxsen loose, and that's it, that might be her leap of faith.
Her leap of faith,
but it's hard to
very
say.
Much like that.
I mean, it's really hard to say what her leap of faith is, because I feel like if she already knew what it was, she would have already done it.
Right. That's fair.
But since she doesn't know what it is yet,
and fate likes to be elusive with that, according to Samuel. He has seen enough.
Or what she thinks the leap of faith, her leap of faith is, really isn't.
Yes, it could be wrong.
Leap of, like, really, like, she might think her leap of faith is doing ABC, when it's really X, Y, and Z. It had nothing to do with what she thought it was.
Yeah. That's valid.
So, I mean, it can be. I mean, like I said, her leap of faith could be you have to cut him off altogether.
Yeah.
Or sacrifice him for
the greater good. Or,
yeah.
Okay.
That might be her leap of faith. Or it might be something has nothing to do with Jaxsen.
Okay.
Or, to test, see what her true feelings really are. What if down the line somewhere, he gets captured by the Hellions?
And how would she react?
Yeah.
Would she fuck that fate?
Would she sit there and just drop everything and said, I'm going down here, I need 2 guardians with me, we're gonna mess some stuff up, I need to get him back, or like,
oh damn. No. Okay.
Like Samuel showing up.
A brief mourning period, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Back to work.
Yeah.
Oh, you got beat up? What'd you do? I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. That's fine.
I gotta go over here now. Bye. Okay, so better yet, kind of on top of that question, building on it, let's pose it like this. Do you even think that Hope will pass her leap of faith? Because things are really, really shaky right now. They're really sketchy. And do you think Hope will even pass her leap of faith?
I think she will.
Okay.
Because if not, then who else is in the running?
Fate would just have to find somebody.
So, I mean, that's the thing is, we don't know of anybody else that's in the running for it. So, why wouldn't she
hold on to that thought?
But how many chances does she get to pass this? Is it like a one and done thing?
It's a one and done. That much I can tell you. It is, and I have outlined it briefly in the books where you don't necessarily know you're going through it.
Right.
Until you've gone through it and fate is like, reward!
Hey, wait a minute. Everything's starting to open up. What happened?
And the hand is like, I have so much to show you.
So it might be something very simple.
Yeah.
That she doesn't know she's working on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she will pass it. Because it could be a lot of like little shit.
Yeah.
To lead up to
like the bigger one,
or all that little shit equals one big thing.
Right.
Type thing. I mean, she might go to like step on these little stones, but once she steps on them, they form like this big boulder.
Yeah.
Type thing. I mean.
Okay.
I think if she does pass it, it's gonna be.
He's got the if in there.
Well, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel like the trajectory that you have this going, because granted, the wielder has basically one chance.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of forces moving and a lot of moving parts in what's going on through the books.
Yeah.
Up to this point, that potentially could go one of two ways. One, you do have a wielder of fate and basically keeps the status quo. Or there is a complete and total fundamental shakeup of heaven.
Okay.
where the angels of wisdom take on a different kind of role. Fate becomes something altogether different, to where you don't need a wielder to communicate whatever needs to be changed.
Right.
And the Pied Piper basically becomes more of an enforcer.
Okay.
Versus the college professor.
Yeah.
That he currently is.
I like how both of you are thinking, because you have so many elements that you don't realize how right you are, but then there's other things that's like, that's a really interesting theory. So that's really good. Are there things that Hope has done to indicate to you that she's not built for the Wielder of Fate throne? Or is her extreme confidence and go-getter attitude just kind of part of what it takes to be Wielder of Fate? Because if you think about it, before you answer the question, we've never seen a Wielder of Fate before Hope. So we have no way of knowing how these angels were in the past. Were they like Hope? Were they like Samuel? Were they like Rosangela, where nothing really ever happened? So how do you think that affects her?
I think you have to... That position is so... You have so much. You need to have that confidence. You need to have that go-getter. You cannot be some meek and mild little person with all of that responsibility.
Yeah.
And all of that power. And I don't know, maybe we should. No, you have to. This is what's going on, and you're committed to it. And whatever happens, that's what happens. But you have to stand behind your decision.
Right.
So I think, you have to be kind of a bitch.
Literally come hell or high water.
Yeah. Like you have to be that, go-getter, this is what I'm doing.
Like that force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, you have to have that confidence within you.
Yeah.
You can't have, no confidence at all. Because then, if you have no confidence, I feel like if you don't have the confidence, how did you pass the leap of faith?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we haven't seen any Wielder of Fates before, but they couldn't have been some, little mousy angel.
Yeah.
There's confidence, and then there's just arrogance.
But you have to. But that's such a thin line. Because
I do kind of agree with that.
That's very thin.
It is a very thin.
I feel like it depends on who you ask. Because you could ask this two people. One person's going to say they're confident. The other person's going to say they're arrogant.
Here's my two people.
I'm arrogant.
No.
I'm
Here's a good.
Arrogant.
This is a mirror image. I know we're talking. Even though we're talking about angels.
Yeah.
Here's a very good example, and you see it on Earth. Cordelia. Cordelia is she's very confident in what she does, but the thing is, and both her and Hope have the same problem. They are so confident in themselves, they cannot see other avenues.
It's almost like their tunnel vision.
Very much so, because Cordelia's, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm going to get this done. I don't care if I kill everybody in my family. I don't care if I kill the entire town. I'm going to get this done. Even though she has people around her that could help her get to her objective.
Yeah.
And Hope's the same way. Samuel's sitting there going, for the love of God, woman, listen to me for a minute.
Let me help you.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I don't need you. Yeah. You're part of that old way we did things. I don't need you.
I'm ushering in a new era.
Yeah. And they both have the same problem. And that's because they're arrogant.
I like that comparison, because it's basically what I was going to say when you were talking about the thin line between the two personality traits, two sides of the same coin. Well, yeah. I do think that you're right. Hope and Cordelia could be viewed as two sides of the same coin. So now, do you think that Jaxsen would make a better Wielder of Fate than Hope?
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been able to really see a whole lot of who Jaxsen is.
Right.
I mean, basically, you when you first meet him, he's basically Hope's boy toy.
Yeah.
And then the next time you see him, he's getting thrown in angel jail. That's not really stretching, per se, stretching the wings.
Yeah.
Of what
things were stretched.
And then Samuel ruined it.
Yeah.
So,
We don't know who he really is,
okay,
other than
that's fair.
just the little flashes we've seen. Now, maybe down the line when things really start going to pieces, maybe you'll see. Maybe he's a great leader.
Yeah.
Maybe he's somebody that sits there and calms a little bit of the chaos that's going on. But until then, we really don't know.
Yeah, he might have that potential. You never know. It has been made pretty clear that without a wielder of fate, the rest of the angels, such as the angels of wisdom, Samuel, like the ones with a little more standing in heaven, they're basically just kind of guessing about what's happening, and they guess based on if the balance of power statue is thrown off, or maybe shepherds report some things about what they've seen in their mortals that they're guarding, all of that stuff. So basically, I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit here.
Oh Lord.
Do you think that Hope enjoys keeping everyone in the dark, or do you think, kind of like just rephrasing that question a little bit, do you think that she's purposefully delaying her bond with the hand because she has some kind of agenda or ulterior motive or something like that?
I don't think she's purposely delaying anything because of her frustration that she can't bond with the hand.
Okay.
So this isn't a plan of hers to sit there and if I sit there and drag my feet, I'm going to tick off the angels of wisdom so bad they're going to kill each other trying to get to me. I mean,
it would eliminate some of her problems by getting them out of...
Yeah, because, I mean, let's face it, the angels of wisdom have, they've been in their position so long they've forgotten what it's like to be out in public.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, for the most part, there's a couple that actually do understand a little bit of what's going on, but I don't think it's anything purposely done by Hope.
Okay.
That she's actively trying to confuse and mislead anybody.
Okay.
I think she likes everybody in the dark.
She kind of likes having that.
Yeah. But I don't think she's delaying herself because then that would make your point of her being a narcissist invalid. Because if she already knew she could do it, wouldn't she already do what she has to do to be in that
Oh my
spot?
God, she would have. Yeah, she would have been.
So I don't think she's purposely,
but she kind of likes that,
or consciously delaying it.
Yeah,
but I think
she likes being the thorn in the side for the angels of wisdom.
I do think she likes the little bit of chaos that's going on.
Yeah, and that she's the cause of it.
Yeah.
Kind of where it's like, ooh, look what I did.
Yeah.
You think it's kind of like a kind of a little power thing a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little serving her ego a little bit.
In a way, yes, but then
I don't think
you look at
she's doing this consciously and purposely, not bonding with the hand.
Right.
But, I mean, she, on several occasions, is so frustrated because it's like, the hand won't do anything. Why does it keep showing me this one little podunk place? I mean,
no, that's very much her attitude toward Murr County. She's,
that's what I'm saying.
And then as she's like, okay, let me clear my head. I'm gonna follow this stupid trail this picture I'm looking at and figure out what's going on. And as going down through the books, as we progress, she realizes she's in over her head.
Okay.
But her confidence
Did you see that look when he said confidence?
Well, you call it confidence, I call it arrogance. Her confidence / arrogance will not allow her to step back for a second and go, what am I doing wrong in this situation?
Okay.
She is just, I'm going to make this work. I don't care how. Who is this thing down here? And that's a key change from when she was a guardian.
Okay.
Because she loved all her charges that she'd had for all those centuries and stuff. And since she's become the next in line for the wielder of fate, her attitude has changed to where it was more, why am I dealing with these people? These creatures? Because I'm here. Yeah. They're here. And you really see a big shift in the attitude, because normally they should be able to link with humans very easily. She doesn't have that ability. But
she also states that it has always been a little bit challenging for her. Like in book 4, she, which is out now. She talks about, how when she's trying to bond with Skylar, she's like, I've had to where I've only had one link on him before, and it's fine.
Yeah, but again, she doesn't look at it as, okay, this isn't working. What do I need to do to sit there and make this better? Yeah. Where other forces are like, ooh, this is interesting. I'm going to have some fun with this. Yeah. And again, so blinded. I want to get this. I want to be bonded. I want to have the power.
Other forces meaning dark angels.
Dark angels, and I got a feeling there's a few earthlings that are sitting there playing in on this.
Oh, well, hold on to that thought.
Because think about it. You're basically this area of Murr County is almost like, I wouldn't say a portal, but it is such a big beacon of magic that both heaven and hell know about it very well, which is very surprising. You would think, oh, well, what's that? No, they're like, oh yeah, I've been there.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. In a couple of videos, we're going to start talking about Murr County, so that's going to be fun. So, alright, do you think that Jaxsen will ever tire of Hope's antics and try to combat her at any point? Or do you think that Jaxsen is kind of basically like a pushover now, and he'll continue to be one because he loves her and he just wants her? Oh my gosh.
all I can think of is like, yeah, hopefully he gets revisited down the line. Yeah. Because right now he's stuck in jail. He's like he's about as depressed as he gets. And I see one of two things. If he is kind of, I'm just going to be a follower, I'm not going to, say anything. He's just going to come out, yay, I'm out. Or he's going to come out, how long does it take to get somebody out of here? You left me in there for 3 days. You know how long 3 days is in angel terms?
That's true. That's a long-ass time.
And I had to listen to the angels of wisdom coming down, sitting there cussing at me, saying how much of a POS I am the whole time. And then they flew back up to their little crystal palace.
I like that this is directed.
No, I did it.
Hope is here. This is Hope incarnate. So what do you think,
She's
Hope?
been the biggest defender of Hope
it's
here.
True,
all right.
Hope is your favorite angel. Yeah. So that's why.
Okay. So yeah. And she was already giving me a look anyway, so I was like, why skip the author, go straight to the source?
That's fine. I think
after a while, there's a good chance he'll get tired over shit.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can only put up with so much before you're like, is this really worth it?
Yeah.
Like I said,
And it's been 500 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, in 500 years, I don't think he's been thrown in jail.
But also, in the 500 years, has she had this much power?
No.
So,
Exactly.
This is new. So, if she's arrogant, he's going...
Really?
Yeah. There's a good chance he could get tired of that. Yep. Or you might actually see more of his personality come through and be like, what are you doing? Kind of help guide her, because he knows she will listen to him quicker than what she will listen to Samuel.
No, she had...
I'm just saying. No, because think about it. Am I gonna listen to somebody who I like, love and adore and everything? I'm gonna care more about your opinion than I am some crazy old man trying to tell me what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
So, what? So,
actually, Jaxsen has, in the first book, has mentioned a little bit about, because he did notice how frustrated.
A little bit. But
and
was it...
She kind of listened to it, but really she needed body help. So she was like, okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not here for that. Let's do this.
Right.
Because he said, listen, he is there to help.
Jaxsen knows how to talk to her and how to get her, how to motivate her or guide her in the right direction.
And get her attention.
And get her attention quicker than what Samuel can.
Yes.
So, I feel that if he does stick around, I feel like he will benefit her because she will listen to him.
Yeah.
Quicker than what she's going to listen to Samuel.
Oh yeah, I do agree.
Samuel could say something and Jack's gonna say the same exact thing, and there's gonna be two different reactions and two different pushbacks.
Well, and it's also the way Samuel delivers the message.
Yeah,
and right now he is the old college professor. That's
what I'm saying. They can say exactly word for word verbatim to her.
Yeah,
she's gonna hear two different things. And she's gonna...
It depends on how long, but it also depends on how far Hope's gone down the rabbit hole. Because
I feel someone can save her from that rabbit hole and kind of help guide her down that.
If you look at Hope from book 1 to the brand new book that just came out, she's on a roller coaster that would really unnerve a lot of people. Because she does not come across very angelic.
Yeah.
But if she's going to be messing with mortals, she can't. She has to come across to them in a way that they're going to listen and they're going to do what she wants to do.
But the thing is, true, but there is a way to do it. And her wanting that power is not only blinding her to other issues going on in heaven, it's also blinding her to what is happening to herself.
Now, I had told both of you when you were talking about kind of mortals and like the angels kind of and how that, I was like, hold on to those thoughts, because you were on to a good topic that I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in now.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Surprise! There's a surprise bonus guardian. It's called the Earthly Guardian. Introduced in book 2, like the very first chapter, you find out that there's this guardian who's on Earth. We've not met them, to our knowledge, but they exist on Earth. We don't know if it's man or woman.
You put down clues, though.
And so we haven't formally met anybody that's this is the Earthly Guardian. So it's all speculation right now.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I need to pose the question, how the hell is it even possible that there are 7 guardians? Doesn't that fuck with fate?
No, because fate created. No, fate created.
Did it?
It would make sense.
Okay.
Because Earth is its own realm.
Right.
And angels, especially considering what the original wielder of fate did, there was a lot of shakeup going on.
Which, to your point, just so that nobody feels like we're not, like, they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't know the full extent yet of what the original Wielder of Fate did. We just know that they are the reason death exists. And all these rules
And that
exist.
was another thing. Okay, you have your Angels of Wisdom, and then they added death on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe Fate sit there looked at it. Okay, if we have to add an extra angel, I am gonna add an extra guardian
Okay.
because we need boots on the ground, so to speak.
Okay.
If we're gonna have somebody watching over ours, instead of being up here, I need them down there.
Okay.
And that frees up the rest of my guardians to do whatever needs to be done to maintain the peace up here and maintain our defense.
Okay.
So we have a guardian on Earth. My thing is it just one? And if it's
Yes.
just one on the whole Earth, they're in this little podunk town.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not hard to believe that there's not bigger shit going on in the world that he needs to be right here at this time. Like, there's nothing else going. There's world peace, and there's everything is great.
Okay, if there was world peace,
that's what.
No, she's saying like they could bring world peace.
well, yeah, they
That's what I'm
could.
saying. But that's what I'm saying. Though, is why is there not more guardians planted throughout the Earth?
The guardian
throughout
is not
different
there to
places.
sit there and it might
To guard?
to
His
guard
guardian?
against. The Earth Guardian is there to protect the humans from magic.
Okay. And
Ve-
that's
cer-
the only place where
certain
there's
forms.
magic at. That's the only place there's magic in the whole world. That's the only place where there's magic.
No, it's the most.
That's why I have a hard time believing that there's just one.
I
there's
can
not-
confirm that there is just one.
Okay, that's okay. I just feel like that's weird that there's just one.
It is weird. That's why
It
it's
is.
such a
One,
like,
and this is the only place that they're at. I mean, are they only there for a little while? Or
I can't wait until you find
no,
out the
they've
truth.
probably been there
Or like-
for at least a century.
Okay.
And what they're doing is again they are protecting the humans from magic and creatures, so that because think about it, creatures outnumber humans.
Mm-hmm.
now.
At
But
one
apparently
point,
that didn't happen. That wasn't
yeah,
the case.
back in the day, they actually got along.
Mm-hmm.
Something had. I mean, they
They coexisted better.
Right.
They agreed to disagree.
Yeah.
But they knew where to go and everything else, and then of course somebody came along and screwed all that up. And
Now we have a race war.
yes,
Pretty much.
but magic plays into that,
Okay.
and Alchemid Falls is apparently, and Falshuk Mountain itself are apparently a very big nexus of magic.
3 videos from now, we're going to talk about that.
That's gonna be cool.
3 weeks.
To the point where heaven and hell know about it very well,
Mm-hmm.
which
I'm just kind of.
so why wouldn't you have an Earth Guardian
I'm just
at
wondering- I'm
a
just wondering-
nexus of magic that powerful?
I think my thing is more like the location. Like
My
that's
God,
the
this is
only
like an
place.
episode of Crossfire or something.
Like, is this the only in the whole world? This is the only location. Is my.
I mean,
thing.
if you wanted
Like,
to go
there's
straight
no
comic
place-
book, you could look at it like from Batman, where is this the only Lazarus pit? No, probably not. But this is the most powerful Lazarus
It's the
pit.
one that matters right
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a good
is,
way
like,
to put it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like the whole world. This is the only place that creatures, immortals, and magic are at. No other place in the world.
No.
It exists
That's-
all around the world.
that's
It's just so.
But if you look at it in the context of the book, I mean, creatures outnumber humans, and you're just talking about I'm assuming America, just in North America.
yeah.
So you're not talking about Europe or anything else.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing going
But
on over there that the Guardian needs to pay.
It's very possible. It's very
Well, I'll say
possible
this.
over in
There's
Europe
not,
and
there's not
around the
bigger
world.
shit he should be paying more attention to is my thing.
You know what? Valshik Mountain could be a portal that allows angels to come from heaven and hell come up through there too. And guess what? That could be the focal point for a major war or invasion. You know, and that's why you need
coming from miles around to this place. Why are they not coming from like other parts of the country or other parts?
They may be.
Now, sometimes throughout the books, I do reference how, like, you know, because Merlance is a dry city, but Valshik Mountain is not, because they've got the Devil's Playground there.
Right.
People come from surrounding counties to there. People from surrounding states come to Merlance to go to the forest. So Merlance and Mer County itself, they're known very well, at least through this part of the country, through like this east of the Mississippi. So they are known very well for the spectacle they provide and the falls and all that stuff, which we will get into, like I said, in a couple videos. But it does correlate with the point of, like, why is the Earthly Guardian focused here?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Purpose.
Like, there's not bigger shit he needs to be focusing on.
Which is a valid question.
I mean, the Earth Guardian isn't there to provide world peace.
I'm not saying he is.
But then what was even, the next question I even have on here is, what was even the point of sending a guardian to Earth?
Yeah. So they're sent to Earth, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He doesn't have other shit.
Could there been a wielder of magic that could have been so powerful that was at Valshik Mountain at one point that could have easily had accumulated enough magic that would have been stronger than heaven and hell and would have knocked the balance power off, and they needed an Earth Guardian to sit there and kind of keep them in check?
Well, if he has that much power,
because look at Sky.
Guardian.
Look at Sky. She potentially could be the most powerful out there.
Or not.
Or do you think she only appears to be one of the most powerful because mythics are so rare?
Yeah.
But there's a reason why mythics are so rare.
There is. And again, we'll get into that.
But you would need somebody to help keep that in check.
The thing is, if I have that much power, I'm not going to do what the fuck you want me to do because I have more power than you. So why am I going to listen to you?
Or even
I might listen to you, but it doesn't mean I'm going to actually do what you tell me to do.
You're going to push the limits to be like, how much power can I get away with against you?
Yeah. I have more power than you. That's like an employee acting like a boss, and the boss is like, what the fuck are you doing? I could fire you, you can't do shit. Like... Yeah,
that's
what
true.
I'm saying. And unless the Guardian has much more power than the other one
and we don't know that. We don't know that how much power
you're getting me back
that fate may have bestowed on the Earth Guardian.
So, but
again, that's the thing about the Earth Guardian. But maybe part of the reason why we're having so many issues in the books as they go along is because the Earth Guardian's power is fading, and now everybody gets to start playing around in the kiddie pool.
That is something to remember whenever we talk more, as we learn a little more about the Earth Guardian. Just remember that the fluidity of magic, and use it or lose it, and we will learn as the books progress, even beyond the fourth one that's out. You will learn that angels who go to Earth have a very strict window of time, and I'll kind of touch on it now. That's another thing to think about with the Earthly Guardian. How long has this guardian been there? Like you guys had said, does it even do they even have power? Because have they been there for longer than 3 days? Have they?
But at the same time, would you look at it, because we don't know when the Earthly Guardian was actually set down on Earth, was it? Because
yes.
You do have it in there?
Yes.
Because it was...
Look at us getting to the holy text here. I believe I say that it was about 3-4 years ago. Because it was.
Okay. Nobody knows about Earth Guardian? I mean...
That gets into the next question. It's clear that nobody else really knows about this except for a handful of angels. And Hope is one of them that doesn't know about this earthly guardian.
Now, how can you be the next wielder of fate and not know about that?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Because you can't reveal the hand cannot reveal everything.
And you don't know what happened to lead up to... The earthly guardian was put on Earth before Hope was summoned to be the wielder of fate. So that's something she wasn't privy to. So
technically, that was actually fate that did it, because they were in between. They were in between.
Maybe.
Wielders.
How do you think Hope will react when she finds out this earthly guardian exists? Is it going to throw a kink in the chain?
She's gonna have a meltdown of epic proportions.
I don't know. I think she might use it to her advantage. Like, well, you have him down there. Why do I have to be down there? Like, why do I have to do his job? If he's supposed to be down there and do supposed to keep shit going,
and
so he's fucking up. So now I have to go down there and fix his shit.
Wait.
Then why do we have him?
Hang on. It could be a she.
It could be, yes.
Okay, whatever.
She's just...
Yeah, it's like he. I'm like, it could be a she. I mean, hell, for all we know, it could be Cordelia.
This particular earthly guardian.
Yeah.
I mean,
why is this guardian? Why does Hope have to go down there and fix the guardian's mistakes?
Because the guardian's losing power.
Is it though? If it's already been down there for 3 years,
it's true.
3-4 years, it wouldn't have had any power. So technically, then it wouldn't have been a guardian.
Power, but
then it wouldn't have been a guardian anymore.
It may still have power.
How?
Using the falls.
No, I don't think that. I think more it would be it was sent down there to do a job. The job either has not been done.
And we don't know what powers what.
So
but that doesn't mean that just because it's after 3 to 4 days they start losing power. It doesn't say they immediately turn into a mortal.
Right, they just slowly start getting drained.
Right.
And just depending on the angel and stuff.
I can see Hope going, why am I down here if you have this guardian?
No, that's valid for her personality.
Why do I have to go down there? So he's not doing his job now, or they are not doing their job, so now I have to go down there and fix their bullshit? Because I don't have enough on my plate.
And the hand showed her what needed to be done. That was the task at hand.
That's what I'm saying. That's how I could see her react.
Yeah, and she would react like that.
More pissed that why am I here when you have this guardian here?
And what I'm gonna find funny is when she actually does realize what's going on, and actually maybe have a moment of clarity to where she goes, wow, I need help, because this is a shitstorm that nobody's going to be able to fix on their own.
I can only hope she has that moment.
You know she's going to have that moment at some point down the line.
She's too confident within herself. Arrogant.
Yes, too arrogant. That's not confidence.
That she
confident. You can be confident and go into a situation and be able to go, okay, I'm kind of outmanned and outgunned in this situation.
But that's different. And that doesn't. No, I could handle this, but I'm outnumbered. That's different. Because now you're not talking about a one-on-one situation. You're talking about a one-on.
She is currently. That's what I'm saying, in her mind is like, I am better than everybody in the entire 3 realms.
Okay.
And she doesn't realize how many are out there that A, potentially have more power than she does, and B, understands what's going on and knows how to sit there and use certain situations to their advantage, where she has not.
Because she's still trying it out.
And she probably also is much like with Cordelia, not quite seeing the big picture because she's never had to experience this size of a picture before.
Right. And how do we know this is not her leap of faith?
That's true.
How do we know
I still say her leap of faith is
task or fixing the shit show is not her leap of faith.
It's true.
I mean,
because if the hand's already showing her some stuff of, hey, this is what you need to do. Once she does it, I feel like
the only thing really the hand's done is
it's shown her Murr County.
It showed Murr County and it showed Sky.
Right.
That's it.
And everything else is up to her to decipher.
Right.
And she's like, why do I have to go to this county or this place?
Yeah.
And why do I have to deal with this human?
And she's, creature, but yeah. And she's also, if you think about it, guardians, shepherds, all of them, they don't have to figure out riddles of fate like that. It just happens. Fate tells them what to do, and they're like, all right, guess this is what I'm going to do, because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
So this is a challenging time for Hope. I pick on her sometimes because of, like you said, that arrogance kind of comes through, but she really is. This is a whole new experience for her. She is someone basically getting OJT, on the job training, but not even being trained. She's just thrown in.
They point her in a direction.
Yep.
Have fun.
They were like, there's your desk, there's your computer, here's what the person normally does. Bye.
Yeah.
So it is new for her. So I do cut her a little slack for that.
Yeah.
But, I do think that, I think you both have brought up some very valid multifaceted personality traits of hers that makes it so that when she finds out about this earthly guardian, it's probably going to be really hard for her to grasp because she's so, she's finally, as book 4 goes on and we get into 5 and stuff, she's just now starting to kind of like, all right, I think if I do this, then this will happen. She's trying to piece it all together, and then we're going to throw a monkey wrench in it when she finds out. So, next question. Do you think, since we're talking about how she does things, do you think her tactics for obtaining the Wielder of Fate throne will change when she learns about the earthly guardian? Because right now, like you've said, she's very go-getter, she's confident, she's like, I know what I want and I'm gonna do this. But when she finds out about the earthly guardian, do you think that tactic will change? And if so, how?
I think it'll change. I think she'll use him.
Okay.
Or use them. Use the guardian to either...
If they know who the guardian is.
Once she finds out who the guardian is, I feel like she will probably use him for her greater good.
Right. To fulfill her.
Yeah, because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, I would use the guard. I'm like, oh, okay, so give me the rundown of what's going on here.
Yeah.
So I can figure out how to fix it.
I think that's valid.
I really do think she would...
she'll almost take a little bit of a growth and...
A little bit, but I really do... I think it's more she's just going to use the Guardian to get to the end game.
Okay.
To get to the... Because, like I said, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, so very angelic.
According to you, she's arrogant. How is arrogance an angelic quality?
Oh no, it's not.
So why would that be out?
But now you're talking manipulative.
But that's okay.
How is she different from a dark angel?
She's not.
But yeah, she got the white wings.
Congrats.
I mean, they would look at her and go, "Wow, you really are on the wrong team."
But whatever team she's on, she has to win.
But,
she's going to do what she has to do to win. You have to break a couple of eggs to make an omelet. Sorry.
And another thing is, I feel like, granted, we don't have that much information on the Earth Guardian.
Right.
But there's a reason for that. He, she, whoever wants to maintain a low profile. I mean, because if you're walking around, you're the Earth Guardian, you could easily see a situation where they, you know, if you wanted to go the arrogant route, hey, this is who I am, then all the creatures in Murr County, and probably everywhere, would know who it was.
Yeah.
Well,
same
how do we
thing.
know that hasn't happened already? We don't know shit about this person. How do we know that's not what happened already?
Because of the way.
And how do we know that's not that's not one of the reasons the creatures are more? There's more creatures than there are more mortals or humans.
Ooh, interesting.
How do we know
that they're using the Earth Guardian for protection?
Maybe. Since we don't know shit about it, I'm just saying.
I figured they were using Falshik Mountain as their protection.
Maybe it's one and the same. Like maybe with one comes the other.
Very
You know
well
what I
could,
mean?
yeah.
Like as far as power goes. So interesting
And if you
theory.
if you get stronger and learn more magic from a person that has more magic from you, wouldn't this guardian have that? So
Not necessarily.
But-
Not
Why
necessarily.
not? Then they're just a person. If they have nothing else except for a title, what are they doing there?
But remember, magic is fluid. So
Yeah.
then I pose the question to you. If you're learning magic from somebody with more magic than you, do they maintain the same amount of magic, or is it very slowly trickling out of them?
No, because
So
you
that it
also
can go
said
into you.
no. Because you also said if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right?
So if they're still using all of that while
Even in a
teaching,
teaching in
Yeah.
a teaching mode, then they're
they're
actually
still
maintaining.
they're still maintaining. So I don't think they're losing.
They're
it.
not learning anything.
They're
They're
not-
not gaining
Right.
power, but
Right.
they're not. They're not losing what they
anything
have.
either. If I have a $20
Okay.
bill, I just need change. I just want 2 10s. I still have $20. It's just not in one bill form. I have 2 different bills. So I mean,
Okay.
it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Okay. Well, we will talk more about the Earthly Guardian in next week's video because it does, whomever this being is, has a really heavy impact on the higher powers that we're going to talk about next week. Yes, it has an impact on Hope too, but she doesn't know about it. So right now, all
She
we're
doesn't know who
doing
the Guardian
is,
is.
yeah, we're just speculating about, when she finds out. So to kind of round things out in our discussion, let's see just a couple more questions. First of all, what do we think the ultimate fate of Hope and Jaxsen's relationship will be? Just the two of them in a relationship, not separately.
I do. I think how Hope is from one extreme to another, it very much is going to be. It's going to go down in flames, crazy, horrible,
Yeah.
or it's going to be like
forever.
It's going to be forever. Yeah, it really will be.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it either way, it's going to be a teaching tool for angels to come of
Okay.
either what not to do
Yeah.
or what to do.
Okay.
I think it's already there.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, ones that haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
I still think this will be like one for like the books,
Yeah.
so to speak. That of what you can and cannot do, what you should and shouldn't do. Look, like they're kind of setting an example in a way.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bad example, it's still
An
an example
Yeah.
that future angels or whatever, or even some there now that are moving up in the ranks.
I still
Of
think
seeing
there's
what's
going to be
going on.
I mean, maybe she's right.
I know.
Except that
There's that confidence / arrogance.
I cannot do no wrong. Look at me. I'm Hope. Everybody loves me.
And
I'm gonna stab your eyes out because you're in my way, but you
And
still love me.
the interesting thing about what Tasha has said was that Hope's decision-making skills are either black or white, which is really interesting given that she is meant, according to fate, to be gray.
Yeah.
And see that middle ground that others may not see. So I think this is proving
She
a
couldn't
real
see
challenge.
the middle ground if it came up and knocked her over. I mean, let's be honest here. She only sees one thing. I see my goal. I don't care about everybody else.
So then that leads into, what do you think her and Jaxsen's fates will be individually in the end? Do you think Hope will be the wielder of fate?
I think she will.
Do you think Jaxsen will stick around?
I think she will be the wielder of fate. It might take longer than what she wants it to take.
Yeah.
But I think she will be the wielder of fate. Jaxsen, I think Jackson's either going to get tired of her bullshit and just be like, I'm done, I'm out.
Yeah.
Have fun with your power.
Yeah. I've put up with this for so many hundreds of years.
Thanks for prioritizing us.
But, yeah. I think, and then Jaxsen will just go along his merry way, or he'll just stick around and be like, I don't have to do shit because I'm with the wielder of fate.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll trade down he'll trade up for a younger model.
Oh my god!
Instead of 500 years, he'll get one around 200 years.
Yeah. That wraps it up for this part 1 discussion of angels in heaven. As always, I love when we talk about character analysis and stuff because it ends up being such a good conversation. So, next week, of course, we will have part 2, and we're going to discuss the angels of wisdom and Samuel and a little bit more of that earthly guardian to kind of get more of how that plays in and impacts the other angels. So, if you have not subscribed already, please do, and be sure you like this. Yeah, right?
Really. How many videos have we done so far?
Oh yeah,
and you haven't subscribed? What's going on
3
here?
months worth of videos. So, and we have great conversation. So, and great discussion,
if
debate,
you make
all of that.
an Earth Guardian, I will stop.
Oh my
I swear,
God.
I will quit reading the
That
books.
would be the end of it. Everybody would just stop.
Oh no, Jeff would sit there and be like, yes!
He'd be like, she did the uncommon thing, which you all know that, or well, you may not know, but I'm sure you guys know, I enjoy doing the uncommon thing, but I don't know that that's the way we're going to go with
Thank
this.
God.
So, but be sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of these boisterous conversations. And before we go, I do want to remind everybody that, like we have said numerous times, the first 4 books are available. I have the 3 here, waiting on the other one to get shipped to me. But the first 4 books are available now in the Angel of Death series directly on my website. That is super important because I am able to charge lower prices. I can do promos anytime I want. Like we've just done some holiday promos. I'm probably going to have another one coming up in February because that's when my birthday is. So I thought let's do something fun for my birthday.
Valentine's Day gift.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
The book reader in your life.
And it is fantasy romance. So
you
perfect.
know this person's watching the videos because you hear our big mouths from room to room.
Okay, that's all heard. That's, I mean...
That wasn't a big... Okay. So, get the books for that special
And now
person.
you know why I call her Hope.
And also, when you buy direct, like seriously, when you order directly from an indie creator's website, it helps us out so much because you're not supporting the big corporation conglomerate. You're supporting indie creators and allowing us to keep doing our little indie things. And it means so much because truthfully, we are terrified to share this stuff with you. But we love doing it because we're so passionate about it and we just need your support to help keep doing it. So when you order the Angel of Death books, just go straight to StevieJoAuthor.com. I've got a shop on there with everything you need and you can order it all there, and we thank you for your support.
So when they order the books online, will they come signed?
They can. You do have the option to request an autograph. That was a good question. It is an extra fee because instead of going straight to you, they'll come to me first. So I have to basically pay for shipping twice. But it's only $5 extra to get an autograph.
Yeah.
So you
Seriously, it's $5.
Yeah, if
That's
you
less than a drink at Starbucks.
There's a box, a drop-down box that says author autograph. You just select yes or no, and if you select yes, it comes to me first, and then I ship it to you with my Jane Hancock on there. And
It's just a signature.
yeah, it's just a signature.
It's a signature.
And so you'll have a nice autograph version. And I personally have the ability to sell the ones with the dust jackets. So if you like the dust jackets like I do, I have a big lady boner for hardcovers with dust jackets. So if you like those, you can order them straight from me. Otherwise, if you order from like Amazon or something, you can only get a printed case, which I think they're nice, but I've never been like a super fan. While you're waiting for next week's video to come out, tell us in the comments if you agree with our analysis and predictions of Hope and Jaxsen and what their ultimate fate will be. Do you like the idea of Hope being the wielder of fate? Or do you want to see her overthrown and have somebody better take charge?
And if that's the case, who do you want to be the wielder of fate?
Exactly. And tell us all of that in the comments. We would love to hear it. So just thanks for hanging out with us in there till the end. I know these get a little lengthy, but we love our conversation. So thank you for hanging in with us till the end. We love you. You rock. And we will see you next week.
Don't forget to order your copies of the first 4 installments in the Angel of Death series. Paperback, hardcover, and dust jackets are now available with an autograph exclusively at steviejoauthor.com.